your incarnations of your earth journey, you know. But the thing is, why not? Like,
Mhm.
why struggle any longer? Like, I don't want to just do the bare minimum. I want to get it done. I want to use this creative. This is a creative plane. I want to use it. I want to play with all the media. I want the crayons. I want the colored pencils. I want the acrylics, the oils. I want all of it. Ready.
Ready. Do
Mhm.
you so tonight actually Ellie and I drew a card, Our Lady of Truth, and we got the Mother of Mary Oracle deck. And I'm just gonna open with a few insights from that. The Lady of Truth. When you choose to be in your truth, expressing and being you, you are with me. In these moments, your voice and every action rings true like a bell, sending out waves of sound that cut through that which no longer serves you. Being in your truth empowers that which can assist and support you on your life path. Do not hold back out of fear. Be kind and be true, and let me help you attain both these spiritual goals now. Remembering being in your truth is how you are closest to me. And with that, Allie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, and text Shauna.
Okay, I will be happy to.
I'm actually going to I'm going to pull one from Isis. But you know, all these are the aspects of Divine Mother. Hmm. This one's Flower of Life, Divine Creativity and Manifestation. And I'm just going to do a quick scan of that. We're missing Patty tonight, who can't be with us, but really wants to be. Um, and I think it's hard for Philanese to get to us by the time, you know, that she gets off of work. So she listens later. All right. Kathleen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Oh, you look beautiful. Wow, room. Wow. She's got her sexy on with her beautiful hair. Kathleen, your hair is powerful.
Thank you.
Oh, is Wendy coming with us tonight?
Nope, she's scheduled herself on the desk and forgot. So
Darn. Shoot. Um, so basically, this card is really about kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. So that's great. And how are you doing with your creativity right now, ladies? Have you been reaching it? Because you're wanting to make something happen, and we want to open that womb chakra. So get out your pen and paper, and I want you to have some notes for the week. So do a scan on your creativity, and have you been reaching it? Breathe into it, okay? Drop your mind into your heart. Feels like, are you guys both in major intellectual mode?
no,
No,
I
good.
yeah. For me with creativity, I'm not like working on any projects. I think I took a picture of that one little kind of area in my house that I reset with stones and some stuff. So that
Mm-hmm.
is some of my creativity, but I
Oh
don't
yeah.
always think of that as creativity.
I see you wearing, are you wearing a soldier necklace? Looks
Yeah,
like the one just broke. I
yeah.
just broke mine and I'm devastated. Oh, I'm so glad to see it on your neck. Um, okay, well that's great because that's kind of like um it's kind of like, in a way, arranging your altar. Nicole, do you have any kind of sacred space that could be considered a personal sacred space? Some people would call it an altar, but it's just kind of a place that reminds you.
At the moment I don't, but actually this week I thought, man, I really need to get something. I thought about buying because really the only time I'm ever truly really alone is in the shower. And I was like, man, maybe I should get a shower speaker and do my like play some meditation music or something in there.
Allie, are you still there? Looks like you're on mute.
Yeah, I was trying to unmute myself.
Oh, okay.
See, for me, that is brilliant, what you just said. Because think of how many times when we're doing a, a visualization, think of how many times we make like a grotto or like a cave, watery space, you know? And I was just looking at these like shower bombs.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen the shower bombs?
I've seen bath bombs.
Yeah, they have shower bombs now.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen
interesting.
them.
Yeah, so you can like they like you just keep them in the bottom of, you throw them into the shower and they steep up. Like you could use like scents, you know,
It's like
and
aromatherapy in the shower.
it is, and it really opens your sinuses. And it kind of opens up, in my opinion, your frequencies.
Mhm.
But you could hang crystals in there. You know what I mean? Like crystals really respond to water. Everything gets amplified. So maybe your water, I think you've given me inspiration for my shower. Like that's my favorite place to be is in the water. I just got out of the pool actually. I think that's what I need to do as well. Thank you for that inspiration. That'd be a great place for you to. Are you a water baby? Do you have any water in your chart?
I did have a star chart and I don't truly remember, but actually getting to the water is something I've had a goal to do for next year because I haven't been to the beach in like 10 years, I would say. And so, I mean, living in northern Michigan is kind of crazy. So that's actually a goal for next year is I want to try to get back into the water.
Is anybody drawn to the wells in Harbor Springs?
All
I
the
really,
time.
I really want to do some water rituals. I really want to do in our next retreat. I really want to do some water rituals in the wells.
Nicole, I'd be happy to take you to the secret well sometime.
That
And
would be awesome. I'd love that.
yeah, it's pretty. I've had some of the most transformational rituals of my life at those wells.
I've never heard of the secret wells.
They're
You
secret
know,
and magical. Yeah.
you know of the wells in Harbor Springs?
No.
Because I know you're really good friends with Lauren, and Lauren, like, that's one of her favorite places to go to. Sean, are you talking about the Harbor Springs ones, or do you know of a secret one that?
Well, the one that Lauren goes to is the one that I've shown her. I
Oh,
took her there for a ritual one time, and I said, I'll take you to my secret well. So I know that she enjoys that.
and she also grew up because she grew up in that area. She grew up in the wells of Harbor
In
Springs.
the wells, yeah. Some
Mhm.
of them are very hidden though. So there's
Okay.
about like 5 or 6 of them that are very like grottos back in the woods with the artesian wells that are
Hmm.
just absolutely mystical, magical wells.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, I want you to really like explore next. As we were getting ready for this call, I wanted you to first do like a clearing, like really assess like what's your root chakra at the base of your spine is where your creativity. So it sounds like you both are pretty good with your creativity, right? Do you ever feel, the next question is, do you ever feel like you rebel against your transformation?
Probably.
I don't feel rebelling as much as I feel I get stuck, and it's like there's this gap that I can't get there.
Mm. And when you feel that feeling, do you feel like it's like a tomato seed, like you can't pierce it?
It's more like a maze. It's like I know it's there, but I get detoured on this maze and I just can't find it or can't get there.
Okay, so tell me first instinct why. It's really interesting. What's keeping you out? And it might be sound magical, but first instinct. Maybe it'll help if I will it help if I narrow it down. Is it a this world feeling is it a third dimensional fear? Is it an imaginary fear, or is it a spiritual block? So I guess it would be, is it physical, emotional, or spiritual?
I don't really know. I'm going to say it's not physical necessarily. I feel it's probably more on the spiritual. What did you say? Spiritual, physical, and what was the other word?
Well, it's going to be either like your 3D like conscious fears, unconscious fears, which would be kind of emotional, or spiritual, which is kind of ancestral or incarnational, like in your specific karma.
Yeah, because I don't feel I mean, there's physical manifestations, but I don't feel, I think it's spiritual. Like I don't know why.
And you don't have any conscious aversion to it.
No,
Do you find yourselves, either of you, sabotaging?
I'm sure I do. On, I'm sure I do.
And sabotaging can be through lots of different things. It can be through distraction. So write that down. Do I sabotage myself? Yes or no? But write down the question so you can see it later. And when you think about sabotage, in what ways do you self-sabotage? Some people, it could be eating the wrong food on purpose. Hi, Shauna.
Hi, I can't get the camera to work. I don't know where that is.
You don't ever need to. Don't even worry if you don't have it on. So we're talking about self-sabotage. So just get out your pen and paper.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, and just write, do I self-sabotage, yes or no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then next, what are the ways I self-sabotage? So it could be a lot of ways, ladies. It could be sometimes we just purposely eat the wrong food. And it's not even that we meant to do it. It's like automatic pilot, but we're like feeling really good. And then we just stick something in our mouth that our body isn't going to process well. And we thought it was going to be like a treat, and it ends up pulling you off your tracks. At least I'm really sensitive that way. It could be laziness. Like when you know that you plan to get up in the morning and either exercise or move, and you just decide you're just going to lay in bed and look at your phone. It could be that you have a structure of like what you wanted to do for work, but you're not getting it done. You know, these are all unconscious self-sabotages. It could be also intimacy ones where you think you want to be closer in your relationship, but you don't do anything, or the opposite of getting closer, you do avoidance, right? So where are you practicing avoidant or self-sabotaging behavior in your life? And if you want to share, I'll let Sean lead on that. But definitely write it down. Where am I practicing avoidant or self-sabotaging behavior? Because we're going to upgrade our hologram tonight. And you can't really upgrade it if you've got these hidden programs running that are hell-bent on you not getting where, if the belief system is, I really want this, but I really don't believe it's going to happen for me. It's going to happen for everybody else, but not. Does anybody relate to that? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down.
And Nicole says, I'm trying to say yes a lot more to new things, but yes, work is a distraction like that. Yeah, I'm just looking in the chat here.
Kathleen just waved too.
Yeah.
And then Shawnee, you can write or speak.
One of the things for me is not being present. So I'll end up redoing stuff because I'm not mindful. And it's like, oh, did I do that? And I redo things because I'm not super conscious of being present and mindful of what I'm doing.
So can I ask you a question? Do you think that has to do with sexual abuse? Even if it wasn't, even if it's perceived, or even if it's some kind of like trauma, sacred trauma. It could just be people wanting to be close to you and you don't love them back, like I noticed that women develop those kinds of tendencies when they're not ready for, like, they almost like, I think it's still that avoidant behavior. And then you get out of your body. Do any of you relate to that?
I think that's a great connection, Allie. One that I hadn't actually made before, the out of the body connected to sexual trauma and not mindfulness.
And we're gonna have to continue that. Is that so? I was gonna take it down another path, but I actually think all of us might have, even if it's just perceived avoidant behavior of where the world has made us be ready for things we're not ready for.
Yeah. Because
to be intimate in our society, there's a really big push on that too early, I think, sometimes. I mean, I don't want to judge anybody, and some people are more ready for it. But I think that throughout our lifetimes, especially with the way that the energy's been for the male and the female, a lot of us have a lot of trauma, sexual trauma. And so then people get born in the society, the kids have so much pressure at like 12 or 13 to be, they're not ready. They still want to be kids. And so a lot of times as women, to be cool or to fit in or just to be wanted, like we're not really taught the sacredness of union, you know? We're talking about like, what does someone else want of us, or we don't want to be prude or all those other things. And this might be and some people might be overactive in that because they might be the opposite, and it could be good for you, but it also could for some um, be a hyper sensuality because that's one way you can't be liked, because you probably were beautiful, and you were always going to be able to use that frequency to falsely fit in, right? And it isn't bad or good, but how does it inhibit? Like if we got out of the shame part, which is always, so this is way under talked about subject, but if we got away from the just like, is it right or wrong, and got into, well, how is that? How does that really cultivate openness for me? How does that help me develop a relationship with intimacy if I'm feeling pressured at a very immature age to be interacting in certain ways, right? And so did any of your expression, because then once I noticed, like, I didn't really know how to handle that kind of attention so early, and I looked a lot older. I mean, I remember walking into a church and there were like a lot of Hell's Angels. And I was very developed at 12. Like, I literally, my mom sent me in because it was Catalina. It was kind of a joke, but she sent me in to be the chaperone of my sister, who was 21, because she knew that my sister wouldn't do anything bad if I was with her. And they didn't even card me at 12. It's nuts. So, and they were carding at the door. It was the Solomon's Landing. I know Kathleen and Shauna know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so the crazy thing is that I was walking with my dad, who was like 6'3", very big guy, like a very authoritative persona. And we were in a mission in California. And I remember standing there with my dad, and these Hells Angels guys walked through and they saunter by and they told my dad, well, you better watch out for that one. She's not, because I looked risque, because I was very prim and proper, but I had so much sexuality so young, too young for my age, right? I was so afraid and embarrassed and ashamed that they were attracted to me at that age when they were so much older, right? And now we know all the weird pedophilia stuff. Like, we're not that surprised anymore. But back then I didn't know that. But it was just how it inhibited me too young to feel safe. I didn't feel safe being pretty. I didn't feel safe. Far too young. I didn't know how to cultivate it. So if we're inhibited on expressing our true nature because we didn't have a teacher, our culture doesn't teach, how do we teach young women to feel safe in their power? Then how can we be our age, whether you're in your 20s, whether you're in your 30s, whether in your 40s, whether you're in your 50s, whether you're in your 60s, because we have the whole range here. We are expecting an awful lot of ourselves. We're kind of like, oh, well, I don't really know why I can't touch this. I do. Heck, you have yielding so much power from you. I mean, the women that are attracted to this kind of work are powerful women. Like, look at the women that you retreat with or that you meet in your workshops and stuff. Like, they're gnarly. Like, they are like, they've been around the block spiritually. And then people say, well, I don't know why I can't lose weight. I don't know why I in relationships that don't honor me. I don't know why I can't figure out what my true career is. When all these things we could ace being who we are from our soul essence. Our soul essence knows this in and out. What we don't know is how to handle our limitations that our 3D selves have been pushed down, squashed, misunderstood, misguided, not raised from a structure within our own feminine lineage and our masculine lineage to support an empowered state of being, a self-love embodiment, right? This is the most important call I think I've done yet with you, because I feel like I just uncovered the fountain of youth. You know, it's that big because we're all sort of flailing quietly on our own, trying to get the map. And our mothers didn't have the map most of the time. I don't, how many of our mothers really had the map? Like they might even be beautiful. And I mean, I've got a heck of a mother, but she's 89 and she's got it going on in so many ways, but my dad has done so much damage too, you know. So I'm thinking, where can we find compassion? So write that down. Where can I find compassion for myself within the limitations that I've been presented with since puberty, before puberty, of how to be a woman? I haven't known how to be a woman. So where can I find self-compassion on how to relearn how to be a woman, on my true sense of self? And so let's walk through that together. Where do you feel you've self-judged yourself for not knowing how to do things right? Take a moment to write that down. And breathe. You can hear me breathe because it's intense. Where did you judge yourself too harshly because you didn't have the right map? You didn't know what the bus route was. I didn't get home because I got on the wrong bus. And you might have bullet points. Like you might say, well, I didn't have the right instruction. I didn't have the right family dynamic. You might have bullet point. It's more likely that you do. But get it down there so you can, when we get into deeper stuff, you can remember, I've got some skips in the record here. Has this affected my weight? Yes or no? Has this affected how I perceive my physical looks? Yes or no? Has this affected my intimacy in the bedroom? Am I sexually free? Yes or no?
Now, expand on that. What does sexually free mean?
It means for right now, whatever it means to them.
Okay.
I don't want to go into it's an instinctual thing. You're going to say yes, you're going to say no. Has it affected my confidence to have a partner, to have an intimate partner? Has it affected my confidence intimately? Am I afraid to be fully myself within the realms of intimacy? Yes or no? Or do I have a lot of confusion on what role I want to play or need to play with my partners in order to be what they want me to be? Yes or no? Have I judged myself when I just need a break? Or have I forced myself because I feel obligated sexually? Yes or no? Do I even feel safe about answering these questions right now? Yes or no? Okay, now I'm going to stop asking you questions and keep those with you. You don't have to share, but you can if you want to circle it back. Because some of you might have some legit questions, and Sean might because she's wanted more info on that. So I really want you to breathe since you're all holding your breath. It's true. Do you feel like your root chakra is actually plugged into your raw sexuality? Or have you shut that valve off? Yes or no? Does anyone have a yes? That they have a free and open valve to their root connection to their raw sexuality?
I have had it open. At this moment, it is not.
Okay. How long ago?
It's a great question. I was just thinking about that. Probably a couple months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, if you don't mind sharing, what do you think shut it off?
Fear of deeper intimacy and commitment as Michael
Okay.
and I have gotten deeper, and I can tell that I'm like starting some of those self-sabotaging patterns.
Mm-hmm. And are some of those avoidant?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I would say avoidant punishment. And I mean, you and I kind of talked through some of those patterns and clearing them, and
Mhm.
but I'm seeing them pop up.
Thank you so much for sharing. So, ladies, do you understand? And I'm understanding this on a deeper level too, because Source is really channeling through me today in a way that I'm able to really look at myself too. So, everyone breathe, because you're not breathing, it's backing up me. Good, good, good. A few more times. Mind to heart. Good. This is so good. Do you know how important this is? Show me a thumbs up if you're really getting how important this is. The root chakra is how our vitality flows. That's the highway, ladies. There's a toll gate there. If that toll gate isn't open because you haven't given it permission because you've been pushed into situations at young ages or either shamed out of them or pushed into them, right? I mean, both sides of the highway can be blocking you. Your Kundalini is your creative energy, which creates the seeding of the field of the hologram. I mean, I think I just found our next book, Sean, but
Yeah.
for sure. But how can you create a hologram? I love how and Nicole always inspires me because she's like my money girl, right? But how can your survival money, right, is in that chakra? So how are you going to be like successful? Like you either have to be totally detached from it, right? Some money makers are so detached from it. They can just create in the field because they have no judgment. They're like sociopaths of the holographic world. They don't get jammed up because they never get that like deep where it's going to be like a soul opening experience, right? But we don't really want to be disconnected from the feeling part of creation. We want to be at a point in our life where if you can't be open while you're creating, when you finally make the money, you're probably not going to be happy with it. So it's better to just do the work on the front end, right? Do the work at the beginning of the base chakra where there's a permission. A lot of you know the chakras. The first chakra is the root chakra, and it's the I am presence. The second one's I feel. The next one is it's kind of like I experience, the third chakra. The fourth chakra is the heart, and it's I love. And the throat chakra is I speak, so you own your truth, right? And then your third eye is I see, like I clairvoyantly imagine. And then the last one, which is your Holy Spirit flame, is like I'm cognizant, like I understand that I'm connected to source energy. So if that I am doesn't feel I am, if she feels I should, I could, I would have, I should have, then the quality of energy to manifest is going to be much different than the knowing I am. Is everybody following me? It's deep.
Mm-hmm. And that's really, Allie, like the manifestation map, the I am and I feel and I experience and I love what I'm seeing and I speak it into creation and I see it. When all those things are in alignment and our Kundalini flows through that into the quantum field,
It's
is
very fast then, because
very
it's that I know, it's like, and so it is. It's like the last chakra is like communion with God. And so it's like, then you're like, okay, and so it is. I have everything I want. I know exactly how to experience, but I don't think anybody that I've ever read has figured this part out yet.
No.
And this probably is the most important thing that all of us could figure out if we want to make things happen in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is probably foundationally, you have to know that the very raw part of you, which is your root chakra, you know what it rules? It rules fear. It rules the root chakra is your greatest desire or your greatest fear. But most people cannot allow their greatest desire because they haven't healed their fear. So I feel the most important thing we can start pointing our compass at is your fears. And I really want to see that as your homework. I want you to get really well acquainted with all the ways you've sabotaged. And that's what I downloaded before, like Sean just kept asking me what's it called about. I'm like, God hasn't told me yet. And usually I have it right away. But when I finally got it at about 5:30 my time, 8:30 East Coast time, I was like, oh, shoot. Our fear is jacking up like, if I was a plumber, that's where the clog is, right? I found the block. But what kind of weird feelings come when I say, well, you've been too afraid? Shame, sadness, loneliness, self-loathing, regret, anger, rage, to name a few. You can name some if you want to throw them in the pot. Their fear is like, oh my God, like I feel so much pain triggering in the heart, like there's been some real pain here, not letting you be who you came to be. And it's all a fear block.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So let's come back into your body, because it's a really deep topic that I don't think I should keep forging ahead on. I think we should really stay right here. And this is a really beautiful class. Like, I love our hot and holy group because it's really a mastery group. Like Sean says, like we go into the deepest subjects here. That's why it's so important to show up for class. It's so important to show up for class, because if you show up for class every 2 weeks, that's all you got to do. Show up for class and then listen to it in between. You will change your life. You will become who you wanted to become. And yes, it's easier to get private coaching on the side. I get that. It's way faster and more comprehensive. But even if you just show up and you only can afford the baseline, do it. Don't waste any of this vital information. So I want you to breathe into not anywhere specific, just but where your body, after such an intense conversation, where does your body want to go to process this? Does it want to process it through mouth breathing, nasal breathing? All of you are going to be different. Is it going to go to your heart? Is it going to go to your third eye that wants to see more of it? Is it going to go to your throat where you haven't been speaking your truth? Is it going to go to your root where maybe you've had sexual trauma? Is it going to go to your womb where you might have holding back energy? Are your ovaries tight? Is your uterus, your womb tight? Is your tummy tight? Are you having a hard time digesting life? Are you having a hard time with the sweetness of life because you're driving yourself too hard? Is your pancreas or your spleen having trouble because it won't let yourself feel the joy of life? Is it your liver where you feel rage? If your liver's stagnant or clogged, you've got anger. You've got anxiety from your anger. If you've got constipation and IBS, you're holding on to shit, literally, right? If your small intestine has a hard time, you're not assimilating life. Scan your body. What's happening? If you're having GERD, acid reflux, you're not speaking your truth. You're not allowing that esophagus to close off when it needs to, and that acid's coming on. There you go. And just let that energy, just like that sweetness of life, it's like I'm going to run it through your central channel, and I'm going to give you all an attunement. How wonderful is that? How many of you feel a little afraid right now or overwhelmed? Who feels overwhelmed? You feel safe? I don't think we've ever had a call where everybody's gone off camera, including Sean. Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Okay.
Here, I didn't want to be distracting.
It's okay. You can do whatever you need to do, Sean. Don't worry.
My cat is joining us.
That's distracting.
It is
Not that your cat's doing it, but that you tell us.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So I am ready to be all that I came here to be. Can you write that down? I am ready to be all that I came to be. I am ready to feel fulfilled. I am ready to digest life. I am ready to feel all my feels. I'm ready to show up all the way. I am ready to show up all the way. I am ready to show up all the way. I'm ready to stop effing around. I'm ready to stop effing around. I'm ready to stop half-assing it. Okay, now we're gonna go into the full affirmation. I am whole. I am that I am. I am love. I am that I am. I am fulfilled. I am that I am. I am living every moment in the highest frequency. I am that I am. I am so happy to be alive. I am that I am. I am in radiant health. I am that I am. I am my perfect body weight. I am that I am. I am full of a glow and a radiance and an illuminated embodiment that I simply radiate the sun, it's like I'm trying to describe. I am the great central sun's rays of light. I am the rays of light of this great central sun from the very core of my being. I am seen in all of my glow and radiance in this now moment. I fully respect that I am that I am. I respect my journey. I am that I am. I commit to my journey. I am that I am. I am fully committed to showing up in every way possible with happiness and joy. And I am available for the highest frequency, the highest expression of what I came to be, feel, and imagine in this life. And so it is. And so it is. My field is seated, and I am ready to continue to create my holograms in the highest form, in every way, in every timeline, in every plane, and every dimension in this now moment. And so it is. Now look at how easily you breathe now. Nothing's bouncing back. Okay, so I'm going to leave it open for a few minutes. Some of you I know feel shy, but do you understand what just happened? What did we do? Where did we start? And then where did we go? Does anyone want to put it together? Where do we start then? Just with where we started. Where did we start?
I'm not probably won't say the right thing, but for me, what I experienced when you said, "Do you have a tight womb?" I was like, "Oh my God, that is it."
And that's a hard place to feel tight, isn't it?
Yeah, like I never connected those
Painful.
dots before.
And you know, it's so amazing, Nicole. You're not going to be able to unsee it, unfeel it. You're going to be like, whoa. Now that I know where my little glitch is or my big glitch, like you're going to start to see that as you unscrew that knob, that valve, you're going to become a completely different person, the person that you're meant, because you were screwed in too tight, literally. Yeah. Who gets the relationship of what happened on this call? Because we came in really trying to understand what makes us self-sabotage our hologram. That's like vital information. So what makes What makes us self-sabotage our hologram? And if you don't want to answer out loud, what makes you sabotage now that we've completed that whole practice? What makes you self-sabotage your hologram?
Nicole says our beliefs in ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
in my permanent state for years, overwhelm. And our fears
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
create
100%. Yes.
self-sabotaging.
How about your traumas, ladies? How about your traumas? Have your traumas, like, we perceive it as like what others have done to us. And that's like first stage level, like someone else did it. And then next stage is like, oh, nothing outside of me is causing anything. My belief is causing these people to do it to me. Like people don't just randomly victimize us. We have a frequency that is full of shame, that believes that we should be self-sabotaged, right? Or that we should be compromised or traumatized. So we have to get back to the cellular DNA that has a repeating program from your belief systems, from greater than this just one story of the story of how you know yourself to be in this life. And that really triggers people because, especially when they had, sexual traumas as kids and stuff. But the more you learn the laws of the universe, nothing outside of you exists. So something happened along the way to create all of our saboteurs, right? So, and prayer is so amazing because sometimes we don't know how to heal, but prayer will heal those things we do not know how to heal. So, if you find that you are self-sabotaged by what it seems like other people victimizing you, I really encourage you to find your way back to your prayer life. And that doesn't have to be religious. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. There's so many different ways. Buddhists don't really pray. They affirm. And sure, like Christians are very big into prayer. And Muslims are into prayer, and Hindus are kind of into both, but it's really just understanding your relationship that's most natural for you with the divine, and allowing the supernatural, whether it's affirming it or whether it is making a relationship of co-creating it with divine source energy. If it's outside of you that somebody else has done, you're a victim, right? Like, how can you ever really feel good about anything? Because anything could come and topple it over. But when you understand divine source energy is in partnership with you in this third dimensional human experience, then you start to go, oh, so it's all me. Like all these things I'm complaining about are me. And then you go, yeah. So at first it feels bad because you're like, oh, what did I do to myself? But then if you're really smart, it feels good because you can't fix it if it's outside of yourself, right? And the universe is just creating trauma for you. If that's the truth, we're all screwed, right? Because it's random and we can't control it and there's nowhere to hide. But if it is coming from your own mind, then all you have to do is fix your mind, and that is your freedom. That's your sexual freedom. That's your intimacy freedom. That's your confidence freedom. That's your familial, be connected to your ancestry freedom. You're connected to your creativity freedom. It's all connected to a choice that you make inside of you. It is the better option. That nothing, the Buddhists say, nothing outside of my mind exists. That means everything that you perceive as real is a figment of your imagination from your mind. So if you believe in a suffering world, you're going to see a suffering world. And then when we talk about all these mystics that are seeing this new earth, that's the bifurcation of the earth that's coming, in a lot of people's opinion, pretty fast and furious. You can't afford to let your mind go into the fearful training. So if we can do anything for you, training you about the hologram, that's one reason for you to get everyone you love to train themselves in the hologram. Because as the world starts to deconstruct the three-dimensional world, it's going to break off into two different realities. And if you haven't trained your mind to disassociate from fear, you're going to see what this plane really is good versus evil. And the evil is going to have its way with the world, and good will have its way with the world. But if you're tuned into your fears, which one do you think is going to show up in your hologram, right? And that's the one thing for me personally, seeing, being a seer, being like so psychic, right? Because that's amazing to be as psychic as I am. I'm so lucky to be that psychic. But also, it's a burden if I can't, because I'm seeing people's pains and their traumas. So that automatically tunes me into that lower density of emotion, right? So I have to work really hard on seeing the high frequency. And the beauty of it is I get to help people to turn their super low frequency into high frequency. But I'm still seeing the low frequency, right? So just be reminded that see your low frequency for a moment, but don't wallow in it, because frequency is amplified in a way that it's never been amplified on our planet. That means you can destroy your world as you know it really fast, but you can also change it faster than you've ever been able to change it throughout your entire life cycle. Does anybody have questions before we end on that? Because that's the most important thing you can take, is where you're putting your mind. And then just consider that I would listen to this call while I'm walking or something, because it's such a deep call. And we'll just deconstruct it and start to build you up from those basic awarenesses of the fears and eradicating the fear programs. Okay, let's see. Can you read Nicole's? Usually Sean reads
Oh,
that.
sure. Sorry, I've been sending notes, everybody here. Nicole, let's see. No question. That was a great call. She said, need to digest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree, Nicole.
Mm.
So what I gave you today, what Divine Source gave you today, and I got to witness it, is this is literally, like if you understand, like we said, the plumber, if the plumber knows where the block is,
Mhm.
you clear that block, then the pipe runs free. Okay. So what we really realize today is that you can't create the reality you're wanting to create clogged up with these fears. So I'm going to do I'm going to spend a lot of time in the next few weeks as we end our year. I'm really going to do house cleaning. We're really going to feng shui your energy body, because I really never was shown the level of people's fear that's blocking their manifestation until tonight. So I learned a lot from spirit, but now I understand why why it's so hard for us to change our life, right? Now I understand. It's because we're so clogged up with those experiences that we can say, well, I have proof, like they did this to me, or this happened to me, or that happened to me, or these are the experiences that keep me from this. And it's like, no, it's all your mind. It is all things that your mind creates to keep you from this joyful embodiment that the earth plane can be for you. And we all are messed up here. Okay, so everybody's at ground zero together. We're all at we're all in the lobby of a great building that has lots of elevator floors, and we're going to travel up the floors together, and we're going to change our lives. Okay. And on that, I encourage you to listen to your recording, and thank you so much, because it's me reading you that creates the message that source channels through me. So if you guys weren't so deep, we wouldn't get these really extremely deep messages coming through. So thank you for showing up to the call, because it definitely, it would be more, basic if it wasn't you coming. So thank you for all your depth and willingness to grow. Sean, is there anything you want to say to conclude our call tonight?
I have included the affirmations in our text thread that Allie channeled, and I would use those daily. And Allie and I will be creating a workbook and a book out of actually all the content that about how to rapidly manifest, but we have to work on the fear piece before that is possible. So dive into the work, ladies.
I really recommend our quantum charisma, because this book, we're covering stuff that hasn't been covered. And the reading of the book is actually really funny, but I think we definitely need to do an audio. And it's like you listen to why you're not shining your light, and it's so source energy channeled through in a way that I learned so much. I was like, oh my gosh. So we can't have true charisma when we don't understand what our fears might be that keep our charisma from shining our light out. And then we have all these little sneaky qualities that are like dirty charisma that keep us from having clean charisma. So, I would highly recommend when that comes out, if you just really want to change how you're seen in the world. All of these things they're very inexpensive, right? So just use our tools, use what we've got here for you so you can transform your life, for in a really meaningful way, because this is the time to do it. We're going to be going through a lot as a collective consciousness. So get your brilliance in order, because really, beyond all the things we think we want peace on earth. What we really want is an earth and a human family that starts to collectively create together. And you are the pilgrims, you're the scouts. Most people don't even get this. We say, my clients say, oh, I try to share this, people don't get it. They kind of don't, actually. You're sort of ahead of the wave. So the more you embody it, the more people will just be like, oh, well, what are you doing? My cousin actually said to me today, and I was dripping wet. I was wearing the ugliest clothes, because I keep like really ugly clothes at my parents' house, because nobody's going to see me and I just want to be comfortable. And she came in and she's like, I've been wanting to tell you, you look so beautiful. And I was thinking, I think I look pretty scary, but she's like, I've just been noticing, like, you've been changing so much. It's just frequency. It's all frequency, ladies. It's frequency. So anyway, on that note, I hope you sleep tight, and I can't wait till we dig into this more, because I can see this is a hope diamond right here that we just excavated. Bless you all. Good night.
Have a great night, ladies.
Good night.
Good night. Mwah.
Mwah.